Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What's going on, guys? It is TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL Edition, Week 9. With me, as always, is fine citizen across the world there, Mr. Jacob Workman. Jake, what's going on, brother?
Going good. Just loving football while we have it.
Yeah. Well, especially last week, you guys beat the dog shit out of the Titans, so.
That's right.
Pretty
and
good week.
Jameis played, so it was a great weekend all around.
Two for one combo there. Very nice. All right, well, let's kick things off here, guys, with a recap from last week. Jake finished 9-7. He missed his lock with Dallas, unfortunately. He did hit his dog with the Rams. Their 2024 total for Jake is 65-56, so sticking above 500. I had a little bit of a rough week last week. I went 5-11. I did hit my lock with Denver, but I missed my dog with Seattle. Total for me is 57-64. Jake, how did Vegas do last week?
So Vegas had a little bit of a get back week. So the most bet teams, percentage wise, the Ravens and Packers both lost against the spread. The third was the Lions, so they did cover for the public. But the most bet teams when it came to total money were the Ravens, the Packers, and the Bengals. So 0 for 3 for the public there. So Vegas with a little bit of a get back week because the public was having a little bit of success. A little bit of some interesting news and notes here. There was a bettor at Caesar Sports that put a $110,000 wager on the Dolphins -4. And as we know, the Cardinals and Kyler Murray won that game outright. And what had to be just one terrible ass bet, a guy at Caesar Sports had a $120,000 bet on the Bears -2.5.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately,
Somebody go check
Daniel
that,
said nope. So
yeah,
a little bit of a rough week there. But yeah, I mean, just one other note I want to throw in here too. Carolina Panthers 1-9 against the spread in their past 10, and they have been at least a 3.5 point underdog or more in all of those games.
At least they're consistent.
Shitty.
At least they're consistently shitty. All right. First up here, Colts Anthony Richardson asked for what we now know is just a breather on a 3rd and goal play in the third quarter. The Colts lost to the Texans on Sunday. AR had to run pretty extensively in the first 2 plays of the drive, and when he was brought down for no gain on 2nd down, he was going into a 3rd and long. He went to the sideline tapping his helmet and then immediately took a knee. Once he got to the sidelines, fans thought there was a possibility that he was injured, but it turned out he was just tired and needed a break, which is what he clarified after the game, as well as Coach Steigen. Richardson finished the game 10 for 32 for 175, a touchdown and a pick, adding 45 yards on the ground. In 6 games this year, he's thrown for 958 yards for 4 touchdowns and 7 picks, which calculates to a 57.2 passer rating. Today, it was announced that he has been benched in favor of Wacko Flacco, who will be starting in Sunday's matchup, which was flexed to a Sunday night match against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Jake, how do you think this impacts the Colts' remainder of the season, assuming that they stick with Flacco? And do you think AR just needs some more time to develop, or is he just not the long-term answer? I know you're not a big fan of it.
Yeah, I don't think time's going to matter with him. I don't think time's going to make him be able to actually be accurate. But I think it's good for them. I mean, why not try to actually win now? I think Flacco obviously has proven that he's their better quarterback. And why not, when you have a team that is capable of winning games, why not go out there and win the games? Like, I think they have a much better chance of winning with Flacco. And it's not, I don't, their schedule isn't that ridiculous either. Like, this is a team that can go out there and actually compete. I don't think they can compete with AR. One, you never know if he's going to stay healthy, and checking yourself out of a game. Like, I've never in my life seen that. I don't know. My favorite player in the NFL is obvious. If you listen to the show, is Matthew Stafford. That guy's like died on the field 75 times. This asshole's tapping himself out, and he's played like not even 30 career games of football in his life. Like, I don't know. I don't understand him. I've never been a fan, obviously, for where he went to school, but I don't know. I that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And then to not in the post game to come out and like even just kind of admit it, like, and like be nonchalant about it. Like, I'd be making up like, yeah, my leg. I don't know. I thought my leg was broken. Like, I would have had an excuse. I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, I was just tired. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's crazy to me.
I think it shows his maturity level a little bit. to know what to not know what not to say. I Playing devil's advocate here, though, he ran a shit ton on the first 2 plays of that drive, so he had to have been a little gassed. And running backs tap out when they get gassed like that. Now that said, it was a 3rd and long play. He knew they were going to hand the ball off. Like, that was just the situation. They were going to do it. They were going to throw a run play there. If they happen to convert, then they convert. Otherwise, they were going to punt the ball. So while I kind of get it, it was not a good look on his part, especially as young as he is. And then for you to be so nonchalant, to your point, about talking about it after the game, I think just shows that he's kind of a little bit disconnected from the reality of the NFL and how quickly that was going to catch fire. He's just been roasted on virtually every show since he said that.
But he should be. There's no situation. Like, I don't care how much he ran in those 2 plays. Look at college quarterbacks. Hell, in high school, some quarterbacks have to run to the sideline every play to get the play call. Like, I don't know. There's no area ever, to me, is that excusable. I think that's crazy. Like, yeah. I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
And you lose your team very quickly when you do that shit.
Well, that's, I think, is the biggest thing, is that I think that the move to Flacco, I think, is a combination of multiple things, but Flacco's leadership has to be heads and tails over what that team is looking at from when ARs is on the field. And to your point, like, Flacco's a better quarterback. It doesn't matter about age. Like, if you've got to throw the ball down the field, Flacco is going to be way more accurate every time, 10 out of 10. So it's smart for the Colts to move away from AR and into Flacco. Hopefully he takes the opportunity to learn and hold that clipboard, but we'll see what happens, whether this is a temporary thing or if he's going to be benched for the rest of the year. Next up here, we've got a little video clip that we want to watch. Most of you guys have probably seen this, but we're going to play it real quick. So I love the fact that we heard the "why not us, why not now" call out right before that happened. So Tyreek Stevenson had not a good game. Like, he had gotten roasted a couple times earlier in that game. So then for you to stand there and be talking shit to the crowd and not paying attention when the clock's not at zeros is pretty damn embarrassing. As a Cowboys fan, I absolutely hate to say this, but the Washington Commanders have very quickly become a very fun team to watch. And I like the atmosphere that Dan Quinn has put together. They, for their own purposes, like, they did not give up in that game until the final second, and it turned out to a big one. Jake, what were your thoughts on the how that game ended and what the shenanigans look like there with Stevenson?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's an absolute moron. And I think more teams need to go into that. Like, the Lions did it against Minnesota a few weeks ago. And who was the other one? Houston, I think. I think Houston did the same thing too. I don't remember if it was the Colts game or if it was the game before. But basically, when teams get into Hail Mary situations, they're bringing pressure. Like, don't let these guys get down the field. Just bring pressure. Like, don't even let the situation happen. Like, I don't know. It seems to, every time someone's brought pressure, they've just absolutely obliterated the quarterback. So, and the ball hasn't even gotten in the air. So, I mean, I think we'll probably start seeing more teams do that. But that guy would be cut immediately if I was the coach of that team. I would not stand for any of that nonsense. Like, and then he was the one that came and tipped it too. Like, well, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, that cannot be happening. I don't care what the situation is. That can't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, he recovered and got into a play where he tried making a play, obviously, but the fact that he was even in that position, like, can you imagine if he never would have turned around? Like, I mean, I don't know how you could possibly have
right.
that lack of spatial awareness to not know that there's a play going on behind you. And I think you can see I think there's another video clip that I saw where you could see some of the Chicago Bears fans that were on the sidelines were like pointing at him on the sidelines, like
Yeah.
turn around. So I don't know if that's what caused it or not, but hey, I mean, hell of a throw by Jaden Daniels. Good win for the Commanders in the last second. Obviously, I feel bad for the guy in Vegas who lost 120K there at the last second, but that's what happens. All right, Jake, you got a little bit of a story here about your buddy Jameson Williams getting pulled over. You were telling me about.
Yeah, apparently it was like 3 weeks ago. He got pulled over by the Detroit police. He had guns in the vehicle. Apparently the guns were registered to him. Something about he didn't have a concealed license or something. I don't know. It was something that obviously is going to become a story, even though the police let him go. And everyone has said the team knew about it. All the reporters knew about it. Like no one wasn't aware of this. So it kind of seems like nothing, but it is starting to come out as more of a forefront story now. They did say that he said, when asked why he had guns in the car, he said, "Do you know who I play for and where I live? I live in Detroit." So it's an interesting answer there, but yeah, the seems to be a non-story. But with him being currently suspended, we'll see. So
yeah, to your point, there's some Lions fans that are calling for him to get his head on straight, and like I don't get that. The guns were registered. It's not like he's rolling around with an Uzi that's got a serial number, carved off on it. Like I just.
Well, and to me, it's just a bunch of fucking assholes. Like if you look at his issues, okay, he got caught gambling outside of the facility, not on the NFL. That shouldn't have even been a fucking issue. Like every fucking commercial on a Sunday is about DraftKings or FanDuel.
Yep.
I still don't understand why this is an issue. Why they can't bet on things that aren't NFL. Like why can Jameson Williams not bet on a college football game outside? I don't know. That makes no sense to me. That's one thing I'll never understand. He's fine in that aspect. That's not him. And that was his rookie year. Like he probably didn't know the rules that clearly. I mean, that shouldn't even be a rule clearly. Then what was his other issue? He's suspended right now for performing. Well,
performance enhancing.
They haven't even said what it is. It was a substance, yeah, which could have been a fucking vitamin. It could have been anything. He claims he doesn't take anything, so it has to be something very, very minor there too. Like these are all things. It's not like he's committing crimes. Like I mean, he's not doing anything crazy out here. Like I don't know. I'm fine with him. It's just some fans just have to bitch. It's just how it is. It's stupid.
Yeah, well, hopefully he gets back. I don't know what the substance was that he took. That's another situation that I think a lot of times is bullshit. You've got supplements and stuff like that these guys are taking, and they're trusting physical trainers, doctors, whoever, to make sure that there's not shit in it. And there's just so much to like. I don't know. I understand the substance abuse if it's like straight steroids or HGH or shit like that, but like
it's not that.
It's not anything that serious. So it's silly that they suspend guys for that, but then you have guys that are, stealing or have domestic violence charges and shit, and sometimes they see less in discipline. It's just dumb, but all right.
So apparently I was looking some stuff up on it too. I just saw so apparently Jameson Williams wasn't even driving. His brother was driving. And his brother actually did have the license with him. So Jameson didn't have the license. His brother did. And the guns were legally registered. So it's pretty much why it became a no story.
So yeah, it should be a non-starter. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll through the rest of this stuff here really quickly before we pick. New England Patriots have traded pass rusher Josh Uche to the Chiefs for a 2026 6th-round pick. Chiefs just keep finding ways to get better. Carolina Panthers have traded wide receiver Deontay Johnson and a 6th-round draft pick to the Baltimore Ravens for a 2025 5th. Seems pretty cheap. Cowboys defensive end Sam Williams has been suspended 3 games for personal conduct policy violation after being arrested in August of 2023 in charges of reckless driving, possession of a controlled substance, and unlawful carrying of a weapon. There's a prime example right there of comparing that to Jameson Williams. He's already on season-ending IR after tearing his ACL and MCL in training camp, but he's allowed to serve a suspension this year, so he's not going to miss any games. LA Rams have given cornerback Tre'Davious White permission to seek a trade. White signed a 1-year deal with the Rams in the offseason and started the first 4 games of the year, but he has since fallen out of the starting lineup. He's been inactive the past 3 weeks. So look for him to move between now and next Tuesday. Browns quarterback Jameis Winston has officially been named the team's starting quarterback on Monday after Sunday's 29-24 victory over the Rams. Raiders owner Mark Davis has announced that the team will not be trading defensive end Max Crosby.
Boo.
That's why I paused. I was waiting on the boo. New York Jets are trying out kickers as Greg the Leg Zuerlein missed 2 kicks in Sunday's loss to the Patriots and continues to struggle this season. Stat of the day, NFL teams have succeeded on just 31% of 2-point conversions so far this season, which is pretty well below average. And lastly, before we get into injuries, happy birthday to me. On Monday, December 9th, ESPN, Disney, The Simpsons, and the NFL are collaborating to premiere The Simpsons Fun Day Football, an animated Monday Night Football game transformed in real time into the iconic Simpsons world using Sony's Beyond Sports technology. As the Cincinnati Bengals visit the Dallas Cowboys, you'll be able to catch the presentation by streaming on Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and NFL Plus. And I'll have an opportunity to watch the Cowboys lose in more than one way. So fantastic.
Even the cartoon Cowboys suck.
Cartoon Cowboys are, Jesus. Jerry, never
He's
mind.
Mr. Burns.
I'm not even going to get into it. Yes, Jerry is Mr. Burns. Yes, couldn't be farther from me. Good God. All right. Injury updates. Bengals T. Higgins is dealing with a hamstring issue that's has him currently listed as day today. Niners running back Christian McCaffrey is eyeing a kickoff to his 2024 season after the Niners bye week this week. Texans wide receiver Stephon Diggs left Sunday's game under his own power with a non-contact injury. It was confirmed today that he is out for the season with an ACL tear. So Texans are dealing with some injuries still on the receiver front. Steelers rookie wide receiver Roman Wilson is being placed on IR with his own hamstring injury. Saints quarterback Derek Carr is set to practice on Wednesday and is potentially eyeing a return this week. Packers quarterback Jordan Love appears to have avoided a major groin injury. The team announced on Monday he's going to get treatment this week. There is a shot he'll play in their divisional showdown against the Lions, but it is also possible that we're going to see Malik Willis. Cardinals rookie defensive lineman Darius Robinson has been activated from IR and looks to get his first start of the season soon. And finally, Patriots rookie quarterback Drake May suffered a concussion in Sunday's 25-22 victory over the Jets and is currently in concussion protocol. All right, let's jump into week 9 action here. Our Thursday night matchup features the 6-2 Houston Texans as they head to East Ruff to battle the 2-6 New York Jets. 8:20 p.m. kickoff at MetLife on Amazon Prime. Texans are coming off a 3-point victory against the Colts in Houston, while the Jets have lost 5 straight, look to avoid 6 in a row after a 3-point loss at the hands of the New England Patriots in Foxborough. Over under on this one's 42.5, and the spread is 1.5 favoring the Jets.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Jets are terrible. I don't care what they're done. I have no faith in that team whatsoever. Houston, give me Houston plus 1.5.
Yeah, Jets are a mess right now. I am also taking the Texans here to win and cover. First of our 1 p.m. matchups has the 2-6 New England Patriots heading to Nashville to face off against the 1-6 Tennessee Titans. Ooh, this is a matchup. 1 p.m. kickoff at Nissan Stadium on Fox. Patriots are looking for 2 in a row after getting a 3-point victory over Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, while the Titans have lost 3 straight and are looking to wipe last week from memory after a 52-14 drumming at the hands of the Detroit Lions. Over under on this one is 37.5. Tennessee is favored by 3.5. Another surprising spread.
Yeah. Lions theory here. No team has won after playing the Lions, including now the Cowboys coming off a bye week even. So they had 2 weeks to recover and still couldn't win from that beating. I will go with New England here based off of the Lions theory.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling out the Cowboys lost after the bye week because that is such an asshole. This one's got some question marks around who's going to be under center for both teams, I think. Tennessee is just another team that seems like a mess right now, so I am going to take New England here to cover, if not get the outright win. Next up, we have an NFC South matchup as the 2-6 New Orleans Saints head to Charlotte to take on the 1-7 Carolina Panthers. 1 p.m. kickoff at Bank of America Stadium on CBS. The Saints have lost 6 straight and are coming off an 18-point loss at the hands of the Chargers in LA, while the Panthers are on their 5th straight loss and return home after a 28-14 loss to the Denver Broncos in Mile High. Over under on this one is 43.5. Spread is -7 in favor of the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints a little bit later in the game finally got smart enough to get Spencer Rattler out of the game and put in my man Jake Haener. So I'm hoping Haener gets the start. I wouldn't pick Carolina if I was the quarterback for the Saints. So I'm taking the Saints -7.
There's a good possibility. I think we're going to see Derek Carr back here, even if we don't. I'm not
Oh my God!
Carolina for
if Carr's back, so. I'd bet $1 million. I don't care what the
is. I'm not picking Carolina for anything, so I am also going to take the Saints here to win and cover. Next up, 5-3 Denver Broncos head east of Mobtown to match up against the 5-3 Baltimore Ravens. 1 p.m. kickoff at M&T Bank Stadium on CBS. Denver's coming off a 14-point victory over the Panthers in Mile High, while the Ravens return home after their first loss in 5 weeks at the hands of the Cleveland Browns. Over under 45.5. Baltimore is favored by 9.5. That's a big spread.
Yeah, Bo Nix is not Jameis Winston, so I'm going to take Baltimore -9.5 at home here. I think they'll rebound from that loss, and I don't think Denver's offense is going to be good enough for this one.
Yeah, this I think is a little tough to pick. I was a little surprised by the spread on this one because Denver's defense has been playing pretty decent. Baltimore needs to fix the rush after a flat week last week, but I do think this is going to be a bounce back for them at home, so I am also going to take Baltimore at home to win and cover. The 2-6 Las Vegas Raiders head to the Midwest to battle the 3-5 Cincinnati Bengals. 1 p.m. at Paycor Stadium on Fox. Raiders hit the road after a 7-point loss to the Chiefs at home, while the Bengals stick in Cincy and look to shake off a 20-point loss at the hands of the Eagles. Over under 46.5. Cincy is favored by 7.5.
Yeah, really, it's hard to trust either one of these teams right now, but I just think Vegas's offense is so bad. Cincinnati, 7.5 is a lot for Cincinnati, I feel too, but I mean, I think if there's ever a game, this is the one. I'll take Cincinnati -7.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Look for Cincy to get a bounce back here. I'll take the Bengals to win and cover. All right. Next up, we have the 4-3 LA Chargers traveling to the city of rock and roll to face off the 2-6 Cleveland Browns. 1 p.m. at Cleveland Browns Stadium on CBS. The Chargers hit the road after an 18-point victory over the New Orleans Saints, while the Browns stick at home and look for win number 2 under their new quarterback, Jameis Winston, after getting a 5-point victory against the Ravens. 42.5 over under. Chargers are favored by 1.5.
How can they say the sky is the limit when we put people on the moon? Give me Jameis, the greatest character of all time, to beat the Los Angeles Chargers at home. I'm taking Jameis.
I love it. This Browns team looks a little different with the real QB under center. If Schwartz can have this defense playing as well against the run as they did last week, I think they're going to get another W. So I am also taking Cleveland here to win and cover. Next up is an AFC East divisional matchup as the 2-5 Miami Dolphins head to Orchard Park to take on the 6-2 Buffalo Bills. 1 p.m. at Highmark Stadium on CBS. Miami hits the road and looks to avoid 3 straight losses after a 28-27 loss to the visiting Arizona Cardinals, while the Bills return home after getting a 21-point win over the Seahawks in Seattle. Over under is 49.5. Buffalo is favored by 6.5.
Yeah, this will be the second game with Tua back, and Buffalo's coming back from a cross-country game. I don't think this is. I don't know. I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take the points and give them a shot here. I think this is do or die for Miami. If they get blown out in this one or lose this one, I think the season's over.
Yeah, the season may be over already for them. I'm kind of with you on the cross-country trip and then them coming back and having the 1 p.m. matchup. Tua does have another week under his belt. Eventually, they're going to get that connection with him and Tyreek and Waddle back in place. The run game didn't look horrible last week. I don't know that Miami's going to win this one, but I like getting the 6.5, so I am going to take Miami here as well to at least cover. Oh boy. Next up, the 3-4 Dallas Cowboys continue their road trip, this time heading to Dogwood to battle the 5-3 Atlanta Falcons. 1 p.m. kickoff at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Fox. Cowboys are looking to avoid 3 straight losses after a 6-point loss to the 49ers in San Fran, while the Falcons return home after getting a 5-point victory over the Bucs in Tampa. 51.5 over under. Atlanta is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, this is a tough one to pick. I mean, I kind of said last week it's do or die for Dallas, and they died, but A win put them at 4-4. I mean, I guess maybe, but I can't trust them right now. I think I'm going to take Atlanta -2.5.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth on this one. Dallas started to warm up a bit in the second half of last week's game, even though it was too late, which has happened a couple times this season. This matchup may bode well for the Cowboys, though, if they stick to the pass, which I think they should. I do like the fact that they got Dalvin involved a little bit last week. Dak can't make the mistakes that he did last week. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to take Dallas plus the 2.5 to at least cover.
I couldn't understand, like, the 49ers. I mean, both touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb. There wasn't anyone within 15 yards. Like, I don't understand what defense they were playing, but it wasn't good. It wasn't.
Yeah, I don't understand what was happening there either. I mean, he had 30 yards of daylight in all directions. Yeah. Hopefully Atlanta makes the same mistake. It's the only thing I can say, because he's the only offensive weapon we have. All right, let's see. Get you moving here. Next up, we have an NFC East matchup as the 6-2 Washington Commanders head to the East Rutherford to battle the 2-6 New York Football Giants. 1 p.m. kickoff at MetLife Stadium on Fox. Commanders are looking for 3 straight wins after getting a Hail Mary W over the Chicago Bears last week in Landover, while the Giants are looking to avoid 4 straight losses after an 8-point loss at the hands of the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Monday night. Over-under on this one's 43.5. Spread is 3.5 in favor of Washington.
Yeah, this is almost going to go into I always have that theory, you'll hear me mention it a few times, of the NFL just corrects itself. And, like, in my world, like, how can Washington be 7-2? Like, that just doesn't seem like it can be possible. But the Giants are on a short week. They're not good. It's tough here. I'm going to lay the 3.5. I'll take Washington, but it just doesn't feel right in this spot.
Yeah, I never in a million years thought this team was going to be 7-2 to start the season, but here we are. I'm going to keep this one simple. Commanders are going to win and cover. I just don't think there's any way the Giants can win this game. And 2.5 or 3.5 is, I definitely think they can at least get this win by 6. So, all right. Next up is the first of our 4 p.m. matchups. It features the 4-3 Chicago Bears as they head to the desert to take on the 4-4 Arizona Cardinals. 4:05 p.m. kickoff at State Farm Stadium on CBS. Last week, the Bears, they're continuing their road trip after that Hail Mary loss at the hands of Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, while the Cardinals return home looking for their 3rd straight win and currently leading the NFC West after getting a 1-point victory over the Dolphins at Hard Rock. Over under 44.5. Spread, Arizona favored by 1.5.
Yeah, the NFC West is pretty crazy what's going on if you look at those standings.
Yep.
It's be interesting how that plays out. I do not think the Bears can hang with Arizona. The 4-3 for the Bears is very fraudulent. They're not that good. I think they kind of got exposed. I mean, I know they lost on a Hail Mary last week, but they still shouldn't have even, I don't know. The game just had some lucky swings for them. I like Arizona to go back at home and cover the 1.5.
It's another one I went back and forth on, but I just have a feeling that they're going to come into this game a little embarrassed from last week's last-second loss and try to prove a point here. So I am going to take Chicago to get the win on the road with the 1.5. Next up, we have the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars as they head to the birthplace of America to face off against the 5-2 Philadelphia Eagles. 4:05 p.m. kickoff at Lincoln Financial Field on CBS. Jacksonville hits the road after suffering a 3-point loss at the hands of the Packers, while the Eagles return home on a 3-game winning streak after a decisive 20-point victory over the Bengals in Cincinnati. 45.5 over under. Philly is favored by 7.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Philly here. Jacksonville just hasn't been, I mean, they've been bad. Philly, it does kind of scare me that they're coming off of a big road win at Cincinnati, but I can't put any trust in Jacksonville at all right now. So I'm going to take Philly -7.5.
Yep, I'll keep this one simple. Philly wins and covers. Next up, we have an NFC West showdown as the 3-4 LA Rams head to Emerald City to match up against the 4-4 Seattle Seahawks. 4:25 p.m. kickoff at Lumen Field on Fox. Rams return from a mini bye after getting a 10-point victory over the Minnesota Vikings at home, while the Seahawks are 1-4 in their last 5 and look to shake off a 21-point loss at the hands of the Bills last week in Seattle. Over under on this one's 48.5. The Rams come into Seattle favored by 1.5.
Yeah, this team is healthy. Well, as healthy as they've been, and it's pretty scary what they're looking like. I don't have a lot of faith in Seattle right now. They're dealing with some stuff of their own, and the Rams it just seems like the time is right for them to go. So I'm going to take the Rams to cover the 1.5.
Yeah, Seattle's a team that I've really adopted as kind of my second favorite team, and I'll be damned if they're not struggling just like the Cowboys are, but they have significantly more talent, which is frustrating. LA's coming into this one more rested with both Cup and Puka back for a second week, so this is not a good matchup for Seattle. I'm going to go with LA here to win and cover. All right, last of our 4 p.m. matchups is the NFC North battle as the 6-1 Detroit Lions head to Titletown to battle the 6-2 Green Bay Packers. 4:25 p.m. kickoff at Lambeau Field on Fox. The Lions have the second best record in the league and have won 5 straight after getting a 52-14 drubbing over the Titans last week in Nashville, while the Packers have now won 4 straight and return home after getting a 1-point victory over the Jaguars in Duval. Over under on this one's 48.5. Detroit is favored by 3.5, and as of right now, it is up in the air on whether or not Jordan Love is going to be starting.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the keys. Clearly, is it Jordan Love or is it Malik Willis? But I mean, I think I've got to go Detroit anyway. I don't care who's playing. We're just on fire right now. Like last week, the offense really didn't even have to do anything. We had 3 huge special teams plays. We had a pick. I mean, it's just firing on all cylinders right now. Everything is going as good as it can possibly go, with the exception of this being game 2 of James Williams' suspension and the Aiden Hutchinson injury. Malcolm Rodriguez got hurt last week, but they are saying it was just minor. He should be back, so it's kind of avoided a big injury there. I just think we're rolling. Ben Johnson, my God. I hope we find a way to just say, we will give you whatever money you want and make him the highest paid coordinator in the history of football. And we don't ever lose him, because we can't lose him. There was actually a story that came out this week that he wanted the Bears job and the Bears kept Eberflus. It's like, what a terrible decision that was. Because if you had Ben Johnson with those guys on offense, that would have been sick. But I'll take the Lions minus 3.5 and watch out for a Penei Sewell pass potentially.
Okay. All right. Throw a little extra dollars down on that one. I think this is going to be a fun matchup if Jordan Love is playing. If Jordan Love is not playing, then it's not going to be as fun. But either way, this Lions team is just not one you want to go up against if you're not at full strength. Even if you are, Detroit's rolling right now. I'm going to take the Motor City Lions here to get the W and cover.
Well, I will say, if Malik Willis is the one playing, the one thing we do typically struggle with is quarterbacks that can run. So there will be a little bit of an advantage for them there if he does play in that aspect. But yeah, I'd much rather see Willis than Love. Let's put it that way.
All right, our Sunday night football matchup features the 4-4 Indianapolis Colts as they head to the Twin Cities area to face off against the 5-2 Minnesota Vikings. 8:20 p.m. kickoff at US Bank Stadium on NBC. Indy continues their road trip after losing to the Texans by 3 in Houston, while the Vikings look to avoid 3 straight losses as they return home from a 10-point loss in Inglewood against the Rams. 46.5 is the over-under. Minnesota is favored by 5.5.
I'm going to take the Colts here with Flacco. I like their situation a little bit here. I think the team's going to rally around him. And I don't know. It's not, this shouldn't be the pick, honestly. I think the public is going to be huge on the Vikings in this situation, but I'm taking the Colts plus the 5.5.
All right. Yeah, I'm sticking with the public here. I think Minnesota's got a more talented roster. I don't see this team losing 3 in a row. I think this is a bounce back with them back at home. So I'm going to take Minnesota here minus the points to win and cover. Monday Night Football matchup this week is the 4-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to the Paris of the Plains as they take on the 7-0 Kansas City Chiefs. 8:15 kickoff, at Arrowhead Stadium on ESPN. Tampa looks to avoid 3 straight losses as they hit the road after a 5-point loss to the Falcons, while the Chiefs return home after a 7-point victory over the Raiders and continue to be the last undefeated team in the league. 45.5 is the over-under. KC is favored by 8.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs. They just keep adding weapons, and the Bucs have lost most of their weapons due to injury. So I think situationally, the Chiefs at home, Arrowhead, Monday night. Why not? You got to take the Chiefs here.
Yeah, another one I'll keep simple here. Chiefs winning cover. Bye week teams this week are the San Francisco 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jake, who's your lock for the week?
My lock of the week is going to be Thursday night. The Texans plus 1.5 going on the road to MetLife to face the Jets.
My lock of the week is the game we just talked about, KC over Tampa. Bucks are shorthanded. It's going to make a tough W in KC. Nuke gets another week in a Chiefs uni. I'm locking in on the Chiefs here over the Buccaneers. Jake, who's your dog?
Give me the Patriots at plus 146 going on the road to Tennessee. As we talked about earlier, no team has won after playing the Lions. Keeping with that theory, let's go Patriots plus 146.
I like it. I'm going to go with the great philosopher Jabu. You can't say the sky's the limit when people are on the moon. I'm taking the Browns plus 104 over the Chargers. It's smart play by Stefanski to stick with Jameis. Chubb's back for another week. Cleveland's at home. They just slowed down that Ravens rush. Now they get another team that's a good rush attack. I like Cleveland at home against the Chargers. All right, guys, that is it for us. TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL Edition, Week 9 for fine citizen Mr. Jacob Workman. This is Reese Downing. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.
See you, everyone.